The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
And we are live-ish, I guess. A little delayed, sort of. I mean, we're still covering the show, but we're coming to you a little bit later than planned. There were some technical, personal difficulties last night. Oh, I should introduce us. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Wrestling to the Max Smackdown live review. I am your host. My name is Harry Broadhurst. Joining me, as per usual, the co-hostess with the mostest, Miss Liz Pugliese.
Hello.
And the Jafar to my Aladdin, Brandon Biskobing.
Seriously? Next week you gotta go with the scar to your Mufasa. You can be James Earl Jones.
Yeah, but why do I gotta die?
Exactly.
Dick move, dude.
I win.
Dick move.
Wow. Sleep with one eye open. Good news.
And given the fact that he was just in the news recently, I guess I'll be gripping my pillow tight. Oh, wait, never mind, wrong company. Anywho, this is the WWE SmackDown live review for the the next to go home episode of Tuesday Night SmackDown.
It's the go home to the go home.
March 27th, 2018. We are recording this on Wednesday the 28th because, well, reasons. Stuff happens. And enough of our shenaniganing. What do you say we get into the show?
Let's do it.
All right, off we go. Our opening contest scheduled for, wait, what? We're starting with a match?
Technically, they had like that whole vignette with Brian to start off the show.
I love your pronunciation of it, even though it's totally wrong.
Fine, so be it.
Vignette.
There we go.
The N is silent.
Okay.
Anywho.
Tell Harry's not from New York.
No, exactly.
Or Jersey. Our opening contest, scheduled for one fall, is Bobby Roode and the U.S. champion Randy Orton taking on Jinder Mahal and Samir Sunil, whichever one isn't injured. Oh, wait, he is injured now. What the hell? These Singh brothers cannot catch a break. So apparently the Singh brother is being replaced, and instead of a tiger, Mahal found himself a lion. Rusev Pugliese, Rusev Machka.
So pretty much a mini reunion of League of Nations.
That was Barrett, Sheamus, and Del Rio, but thanks for playing.
Close enough.
Well, Rusev was a part of the League of Nations, I guess.
Exactly.
Well, that made Mahal an associate member.
Yeah, I would say so.
They were
He
a
is
tag
friends
team
with Sheamus.
They were a tag team on Raw, and Tom Phillips does bring up that point that Mahal and Rusev used to team together when they were both on Raw. The actual meat and potatoes of the match, however, do see Roode and Orton having issues getting along with each other, which, frankly, babyfaces who hate each other this time of the year kind of status quo in the WWE, especially since they're going to be involved in the same match at WrestleMania. And bingo, bango, Bob's your uncle. It's Rusev who picks up a pinfall in this contest, pinning the U.S. champion Randy Orton with a Machka kick at 8 minutes and 24 seconds.
And at that moment, Liz was both ecstatic and horrified because she knew what was coming.
That is so completely accurate.
Here's the thing, though, Liz. Guess what day it was?
It was definitely Rusev Day.
Brandon, your thoughts on the tag team match? We'll talk about what happened. We'll talk about what happened afterwards a little bit later on in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on the tag match, Brandon?
Oh, sorry. I mean, it was it was a solid match. It was kind of what you expect with a tag match, and especially with the whole triple threat going on. They it was a solid tag match, and then, Rusev gets a pin, which leads to, the inevitable, well, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, don't you jump ahead of me, sucker.
Fair enough.
Liz?
It was excuse me, it was a decent, tag match. I actually like all four participants, so, that was entertaining for me. Like Brandon said, it was a decent match, and I think many were surprised that Rusev actually pinned Orton. Pleasantly surprised.
But the good news about that is where it does lead a little bit later on in the show, and instead of waiting and doing this in order, I figure we might as well just handle this right here. Coming back from a commercial break a little bit later on in the show, Mahal is all congratulatory towards Rusev, saying, we did it, woo! And now I've got the momentum, and I'm going to invite you to be my guest at ringside for WrestleMania when I win the U.S. title. Rusev ain't having any of that. Rusev informs Mr. Mahal that based on the fact that he just pinned the United States champion, which he totally did. He is going to petition general manager. I almost said commissioner, and then I remembered that Shane, that's a whole other ball of worms. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Smackdown general manager Daniel Bryan about getting involved into the match himself. Hey, what do you know? The three-way is now a four-way, which I guess separates it from the tag title match. So there's that. I can hear Liz pulling out her hair from here.
It's a fatal four-way now.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry, Liz.
They hate me. They really hate me.
This is the time of multi-man matches.
I know.
You know what they're trying to do here? They're basically trying to WrestleMania 2000 this.
Yep, pretty much. Hey, at least the women all have one-on-one matches, and the main the top titles have one-on-one matches.
It's a step in the right direction from WrestleMania 2000, I suppose. At least not every single match, except for the how do I politely describe Cat versus Terry? Because I have a couple of words, but none of them I can use on a public radio forum.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Hot fucking garbage. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
That works.
Anywho, but that does lead us towards Rusev, Mahal, Orton, Rude for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. Hey, Brandon, what's this about them burying Rusev Day? Huh? Can't hear you.
I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked.
To borrow a line from my dear friend Aiden English, it's Rusev Day.
But I think, in all honesty, a lot of people are shocked. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, as soon as they saw this gaining momentum amongst the crowd, that they just knew, oh, this is going to be Ty Dillinger 2.0, and he's just going to get buried now.
Mm-hmm.
I really wouldn't be surprised to see them put the U.S. belt on Rusev at WrestleMania.
I could see that. I mean, I don't know if it's a little too early. They may want to have, maybe either Rude or Orton win it with, Rusev not really being a part of the finish all that much, and then getting a title shot directly after, and then maybe winning it in like a month or two.
Liz, your thoughts on where they're going to go from a defensive perspective, from a WrestleMania title defense perspective?
I don't know.
Don't give me your official prediction, because we're going to do those next week. But where are you kind of leaning here?
I still kind of lean towards if Orton doesn't retain, then Rude, wins it back, and if we're lucky, get a feud with Rusev, a decent feud with Rusev and Rude. I don't see them putting it on him at Mania though.
I could totally see them putting the belt on Rusev at Mania. I could also see them totally doing something where Mahal sneaks in a pin on Rusev, and then that leads to Mahal and Rusev going at it with the Rusev face turn coming out of WrestleMania as well.
That could be the case. Yeah, that would actually be kind of interesting to see.
We shall see where they go specifically with that a little bit more in the go-home next week, and then obviously we'll have our predictions next week for WrestleMania as well. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on.
Yep.
Backstage, Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles meet up, and Nakamura calls out AJ on losing his confidence. I know, need to face. You should have more faith in yourself, AJ. Still gets me.
Oh, yes.
Nakamura says that he wants AJ at his best for WrestleMania. Styles wants Nakamura at his best. Therefore, Shinsuke wants AJ in his corner when Shinsuke takes on Shelton Benjamin, bringing another feud from New Japan over to the United States. Very well. Our next contest scheduled for one fall is women's division action as Ruby Riott takes on Becky Lynch, and holy shit, Becky Lynch wins a TV match. I forgot she was capable of winning matches.
I mean, it's honestly shocking. We talked about this like a while back, like maybe a month or so ago, when the Riot Squad and Ruby Riott were first starting to really build their momentum on SmackDown. And then they suddenly won, I think it was a 6-man tag match or a 6-woman tag match against Charlotte, Becky, and Naomi. And we were so shocked that they lost because you were thinking, oh, if they're trying to build up the Riot Squad as this dominant force, you have to have them win. And this is the same sort of situation to me where it's like, why are you having her lose to Becky? I mean, yes, I know you want to get Becky some more momentum and whatnot, but, you want to have the Riot Squad be a threat. And at this point, after Ruby losing to Charlotte and now losing to Becky, the threat is going away very quickly.
Liz?
No, I agree, and I think it's been building to that for a while. They've made them look pretty, weak, especially compared to Absolution. For the past couple of weeks, I don't know. Then I don't see it lasting that long. I kind of think they're going to get revamped a bit.
They went from dominant to mediocre.
Yeah.
See, I think they really need to be a staple, though, inside of the women's division over on SmackDown, just because I don't think the SmackDown's women's division doesn't get a whole lot of television time in the first place because they're only a 2-hour show.
True.
So having these kind of layered, multi-person involvement feuds, such as the 6-person feud that we were getting from the Riot Squad taking on Team Straight Glow Flair. Straight Glow. Mm-hmm. I guess Straight Glow Flair works.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're only going to get one match a week out of these teams here, so why not get the most out of your investment for these 6 women or for the 3 women that you've called up onto the main roster and have them branch out as individuals rather than staying together as a collective unit who's really not doing a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. I mean, the 2 shows tend to have this almost, mirror, what's happening in one is to some degree is happening, on the other. And I don't think that they necessarily need that. On Raw, Kurt's fighting with, Steph and Hunter, and so is Ronda. On SmackDown, it's Sammy and Kevin and Daniel and Shane, and the 3 women on Raw and the 3 women on SmackDown. You don't really need it.
Well, sadly, they're down to 2 on Raw because, Paige. Sad Panda.
I think
she's still there, though.
Yeah. I think that may actually be part of the reason for why they're kind of diminishing the Riot Squad on SmackDown, where, we talked about it when they first debuted, that it was basically just a carbon copy of Absolution. And with Absolution, while still trying to be dominant, losing their leader in terms of in-ring, they're kind of trying to fade these factions away. And, they're just, They're trying to keep them together somewhat because they don't really have anything else for them to do, especially the minions right now. But at the same time, they're not giving them that sort of push that they were at first.
Do we have anything else to add here, or shall we move on?
I think we can move on.
Liz, anything?
I didn't even watch the match. It bored me.
Yeah, neither did I really.
So
I had it on as background noise. I mean, I like Becky, but I like Becky. I like Ruby. I don't think that they're in a position right now where any kind of interaction with each other is going to do anything for anybody.
Well, like I talked about with Gary on the Raw review on Monday, the whole women's battle royal, the only real storyline going into it is the whole Sasha versus Bayley thing, and the rest of the women are just gonna be thrown in there, and no one's gonna really care about them at this point because there's no real storyline.
Technically, we did see Becky Lynch get some advantage over the Riot Squad by pitching all three members of the Riot Squad over the top rope when they attempted to attack her after the match there, which I think leads me to believe that Becky's probably going to be able to have some kind of say in the fallout for the women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. Screw you, Moolah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, this is definitely pushing towards, Becky and Naomi will probably have some sort of say in it and be some sort of factor.
Sasha and Bayley, in my opinion, are going to cancel. We'll talk more about this next week specifically, but I think Sasha and Bayley are going to cancel each other out, and then they're going to have a match on the Raw after Mania. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and move on this episode of SmackDown. Okay, so speaking of Becky, you know how Becky is straight fire?
Mm-hmm.
Well, our general manager, Daniel Bryan, is babyface fire! I have to keep my voice warmed up for a little bit later on in the show because there was a certain move a little later on in the show that I need to talk about. Is there a greater pure white meat babyface in the WWE than Daniel Bryan right now?
No, absolutely not. No.
Thankfully, no.
There's one in NXT that's probably about to get the opportunity on the main roster after this next Saturday's NXT TakeOver event here. But outside of Johnny Gargano, there is no other pure babyface in the WWE quite like Daniel Bryan here. We get
And even with Gargano, as we've heard over the last couple of weeks, he's even kind of, I mean, I don't know if this is just certain fans trying to be, very contrarian, but even you're getting some chance against him now in NXT.
Well, I think it's because they realize that he's done with NXT, so they don't want to continue to put him over at the expense of the staying in NXT talent. I move on here, though. Bryan comes out and discusses the events of the last 2 weeks here, with both Shane and himself getting laid out by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. However, since he believes that SmackDown is the land of opportunity, he's going to give Sami and Kevin one more opportunity. At WrestleMania, the Teddy Long special returns. It's a tag match, playa, as it will be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens taking on Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. Funny story about that. We'll get to that in a second. Bryan says that he's been doing these, he's had the opportunity to see these guys with these opportunities because of the fact that they've done everything to help him in his career in the past. However, it's also his job to give people opportunities. He has a lot of jobs as general manager, including some that he doesn't like: going to board meetings, having to fill out paperwork, and dressing up in ridiculous cardigans, such as the one he was wearing for emphasis in this particular segment. You gotta admit, Liz, that was a damn ugly cardigan.
Yeah, and he needs to shave. He looks stupid.
Hey!
I don't want to hear Michael Cole start making fun of how he looks without a beard again. We don't need that again.
Well, I just don't think the look. I don't care about beards. I was just joking. I just don't think the look works for him.
See, I disagree. I think I like the Captain Caveman look.
I mean, he's had it for the whole time of his big run, at least. And I think it's kind of iconic now for him, and it would be weird to see him without it.
I mean, consider how people reacted when he came back for his retirement speech and it was all trimmed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked great.
Agree to disagree here.
I know.
Hey, and I guess Brie likes it, so it's staying. Anyway. Bryan proceeds to rip off said cardigan to make a point and cuts an impassioned babyface fire, as previously mentioned, promo, talking about the fact that this will be the Daniel Bryan who fights for his dreams and the man who kicks ass at WrestleMania, not the general manager, Daniel Bryan. My guess is this leads to Bryan being replaced as the GM, probably the Thursday old school Smackdown, the Tuesday after WrestleMania. But that's all, folks. And we can have our conversations about who we think will be replacing him next week when we do our predictions. I hope to God, if it's a certain brother, I'm boycotting this fucking show.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to tolerate it. I can't stand that man.
I'm going to boycott Shirley out of Resistance.
Brandon will be doing SmackDown by himself, and we'll join him for 205.
Yeah, we'll stick around. We'll come back for 205 and whatever bullshit they decide to replace him MC with.
Hopefully nothing.
But you're on your own for SmackDown if he ends up getting the full-time SmackDown general manager job. I'm just saying.
Lovely.
All right, let's move on. New Day promo, and apparently all three members of the New Day are back intact, so pending no further updates that we got as far as Xavier goes. Apparently he got out of Elimination Chamber relatively unscathed, which is good to see. This leads us to a traditional happy-go-lucky New Day promo, though, which I hated. Brandon's ringtone aside.
No, that was you. Don't be putting that on me.
That was me, actually. I apologize.
Okay.
Oh, well, then I blame Liz. Bad Liz. Anywho, I want to get you guys' thoughts on the promo first before I give my thoughts, and then we'll talk about the tag match scheduled for one fall.
I mean...
You're missing your cue, Brandon.
Well, I thought we were going to wait on that, but... I mean, I'm okay with it. You know, it is what they are. You know, this is what you expect from New Day. Yes, I know you got an extra little fire from Big E last week, but, I mean, they're still going to be New Day.
Liz?
Yeah, I mean, it was standard New Day. They, all pointed nicely to a nice fluid motion to the sign. I think it could have been a little more. It could have used a little bit more of that fire we saw, from E, maybe coming from Xavier or Kofi, but it is what it is.
Especially coming from Xavier.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
The following tag team match scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
Is the aforementioned New Day versus Bludgeon Brothers match. We end up going about 3 minutes here with a disqualification finish, nothing we didn't expect, due to the fact that they're not going to give away a finish to this match this close to WrestleMania, especially since we haven't seen any kind of fall put on the Bludgeon Brothers yet, and they're not going to want to have New Day eat a pin this close to the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Usos coming in as Harper and Rowan attempt to go after the New Day with the mallets, hammers, whatever they are. The Usos come in, make the save, and apparently the New Day was not too happy about the Usos making the save there. I don't know if you saw some dissension in the ranks there when they made the save for the New Day.
Yeah.
That was obvious.
That is until the Bludgeon Brothers came back into the ring with the hammers, and everybody ducked out of the ring lickety-split. We officially announce a tag team match, playa, for WrestleMania a little bit later on in the show. It is a three-way. The WWE app goes even further and spoils the stipulation for this match.
Oh, I did not see that.
I missed that. What was it?
They have since deleted the tweet. Or they since deleted the thing from the WWE app. But if you get the press button notifications, a lot of people were saying that when they sent out the reveal that this match was happening, it had the stipulation announced for it.
I did not see a stipulation announced for it. What was it?
Spoiler? You've been warned?
We don't. I don't care about spoilers.
Yep. I know, but there might be people that are listening that do. So I'm warning them that if they don't want to know, to turn down the podcast or skip ahead a couple of seconds.
Oh, yeah, those people.
Okay.
I think people actually listen to us. I forget.
Give them a few seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now you can say it.
Tables, ladders,
Ooh.
chairs.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice.
Mallets.
I'm okay with that. Did they actually add that on there?
Did you say that?
They did not have mallets. Mallets was personal editorializing.
Damn it! I was hoping it would be like back in what was it, 2012? Tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
Well, that was a TLC's match.
I know.
ECW actually had a tables, ladders, chairs, and canes, so it was technically TLCC. That match is garbage. Don't watch it.
TLCB. Or no, TLCM.
TLCM, yes. Tables, ladders, chairs, and mallets. Okay, everybody. If you've been skipping ahead in the show in order to avoid the spoiler, you are safe to listen again now. Challenge accepted by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Shocker.
Of course.
Update on Shane McMahon time, so let's go ahead and talk about this here. Apparently, Shane McMahon is not only on the Brock Lesnar working schedule, he's also on the Brock Lesnar disorder schedule, as Shane has been diagnosed with diverticulitis.
Just such anyway.
Did they actually distinctly mention? I think they did distinctly mention that on the show, correct?
Yeah, they mentioned that he had diverticulitis. Okay. He was also hospitalized with an infection from his vacation in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Did you just call me an a-hole, Liz? Did I hear that correctly?
I almost did, but I caught myself.
Oh, no, I'll be the first person to admit it. You ain't getting no heat from me. You might from Sean, but you ain't getting no heat from me for that. All right, anyway. Do we think Shane gets replaced? They're saying that he was released from the hospital, but that he should be good to go in time for WrestleMania. This is somebody who had this is a guy who had a hernia operated on, has diverticulitis, and has a massive infection that required hospitalization from his vacation in the Caribbean. This dude ain't wrestling at WrestleMania.
No. They probably just don't know what they're doing yet.
I mean, this is Shane McMahon we're talking about, the man who is perfectly willing to jump off of 20-foot Hell in a Cells. But still, I have a feeling that the medical team will not clear him for this, so...
No way.
Yeah, we're probably going to get someone as a replacement with Brian. The big question, though, with that is who? Who?
I read a horrible rumor.
I'm going to punch Brandon. Go ahead, Liz.
That would be Kane.
I heard that, too. Hey, Team Hell No reunites.
Please.
We'll make our official partner predictions if it's not Shane next week when we do our WrestleMania preview. How's that sound?
But wouldn't they probably announce it next week?
Okay, well then we'll talk about it if they announce it next week. I don't care. Whichever. Work with me, Bisco. Jesus.
Okay.
I can't work under these circumstances. And now everybody sees why. Okay, Asuka Charlotte video package. Time to hype up the match there. Charlotte pulled from tonight's episode of Smackdown where she was supposed to take on Natalya. And from mixed match. Sorry, fell asleep there. Give me a second. Okay, we move on. Our next contest, scheduled for one fall, sees Dolph Ziggler back in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Aren't you glad you re-signed, Dolph?
Well, I mean, to be fair, based on what I read when he did re-sign, it was basically they gave him a ton of money just not to leave, but he's pretty much a glorified jobber now.
I mean, that was pretty much where he was before he re-signed, so lateral move.
Yeah, I know.
Some people are happy to do it for the money. Can you really blame him?
I think at this point he doesn't really care. He just cares about.
I mean, if he's been smart with his money, and every indication he has been rather, he's living a pretty good life. He's still, out there. Who knows what really, that they're gonna, do with him. So you can't really blame him. You're gonna do it for the money. Do it for the money. Go right ahead.
It's just sad to see somebody who at one time was arguably the best performer in the WWE and is responsible for one of the biggest reactions in recent WWE history as well, in the kind of state where it's Dolph Ziggler and Tyler Breeze in a 2-minute throwaway match on SmackDown to let everybody know that they're both participants in the armbar.
Mm-hmm.
Andre Rusev Memorial Battle Royal before anybody asks. Armbar.
You have too much time on your hands, Colin.
I am not the first person to come up with that name. I just stole it because it sounds nice.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts about this match here? I mean, I got nothing.
No, zip.
Not really, other than seeing Dolph super kick Fandango afterwards.
To be fair, Fandango deserved to be super
Yes.
kicked for wearing sunglasses indoors like an asshole.
Exactly.
Two types of people wear sunglasses indoors: blind people and assholes. Fandango's blind. You were saying, Liz?
He looked good in them. I don't know what you want me to say.
We'll talk more about your crushes in our next show. Okay.
No,
Because
that's saved for Raw.
No, because Balor was in the MMC and Gulak was on 205.
Right. Oh, right.
Stop.
Derp.
Bruno, stop.
I see. This is how little I pay attention to MMC. Is that I completely forgot that Balor, who is one of my favorites, by the way, was even in the show.
Liz is being attacked by her pooch, so while she's having to deal with that, we're going to go ahead and move into our main event, scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
Which does see Shinsuke Nakamura take on Shelton Benjamin, and as I mentioned, a New Japan match brought over to the WWE. These guys met 4 different times over in New Japan. Nakamura was up 3-1 coming into tonight.
Is there anyone is there anyone that AJ can face next week just to continue this trend who he faced in New Japan?
I mean, Shelton, technically.
Oh, did he face Shelton?
I'd like to see another Styles and Gable match. I think that would be pretty dope.
No, I was just thinking it would be funny to just continue this whole, like, quote-unquote dream match thing of, like, you know, two guys who faced off in New Japan, face off in WWE before the big one.
I don't know if there's anybody else that was on the New Japan roster, on the SmackDown Live roster right now. I'd have to get back to you on that. Anywho. So it is Shinsuke and Shelton as your main event here. And in about 9.5 minutes, Brandon, would you like to do this or shall I?
You do it. You like doing it better than I do.
I do enjoy doing it, but I figured I'd share the wealth. Liz, would you like to?
Oh, no, I'm not going to humiliate myself.
I can do it tonight, then.
What was the finish, Brandon?
Kinshasa!
Kinshasa! As Shinsuke picks up the victory. Strong back and forth match. I mean, kind of was what it needed to be for a television match main event on SmackDown here.
I mean, definitely not their best work, but
more in like the upper mid card scene. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, right now, with him being focused on his team with Gable, I think you're going to have to separate him from Gable before anybody takes him serious as a singles threat.
I mean, you could definitely tell that these two are holding back a little bit, though.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I said solid singles match for a SmackDown main event. It's going to be a case of trying to figure out everything for Shelton once he becomes a singles participant going on later on. I like the fact that Shelton has the opportunity to do so. And then we'll see what will happen once he does. Let me try this again here. I look forward to seeing Shelton have the opportunity to do so, to become a single star once again in the WWE, because I do think that he still has enough left in him. That being said, I think that Gable will be the bigger single star in the WWE in the future, so they're not going to go with the Shelton singles run until they're ready to push Gable.
True. And the bigger question in terms of that, especially with how poorly, I'd say, they've used Gable and Benjamin on the main route, like, since they, got together, how are they going to play this? Is it going to be where they just kind of just suddenly break up because, they're not really being used at all? Or are they going to actually make a storyline around it?
Liz, you want to chime in here?
I would rather see them, have this gradual, or mutual breaking up than a storyline around it. I think a storyline between the two of them would be a disservice to both of them. I don't think they have enough chemistry working together to pull off a storyline against each other.
I could see that.
I could see them being a total styles clash, or they can mesh really well. Because let's not forget here that Angle and Benjamin had a couple of singles matches once Team Angle separated from Kurt, and Angle and Benjamin had some very good performances. And Chad is basically little Kurt.
Yeah, I don't think so, but to each their own.
Brandon, buy, sell?
I mean, I definitely think Gable will get the bigger push between the two, but I mean, they could definitely. I think these two, especially with both of their amateur backgrounds, definitely could put a good match on together. But we'll just we haven't really seen enough of both of them together and whatnot to really. I just haven't really seen enough to really see if they'd be good in the ring together. Against each other. I mean, you know what I mean.
Post-match, we see another promo from Shinsuke, who's apparently going to be the heel in this particular situation here because he keeps rubbing it in the face of AJ that he's doing everything he's doing just to show AJ up.
And because, of course, we need frickin' heels and faces in WWE instead of just having two guys have a match.
It's a subtle lean, though. I'm okay with this. I mean, it's not like Shinsuke's going outside, grabbing a chair, and smashing AJ in the knee with it,
True, but, I feel like, especially with how Shinsuke has been built, it doesn't seem right that he's being, this petty guy that's, being a bit of a dick.
At the same time, is it really going to affect either of their reactions come WrestleMania?
Oh, no, not at all.
I don't think so.
No, not at all. But that's what I'm saying. This, this should be just a simple, who wants to be the best in the world type of match.
Well, do you know who does want to be the best? Chad Gable. He jumps Styles as Shinsuke walks away. Styles starts to fight back, but they do leave Styles down. When Shinsuke gets back into the ring and clears the ring, and then sees Styles down, he looks for another Kinshasa! But stops short and pets AJ on the head because apparently gigantic jacket.
That was fabulous.
See, stuff like that where it's more pure mind games, where it's not being a dick, it's more of, I'm just going to
that was totally being a dick.
Oh, no, that was just funny.
He was still being a dick, Bisco.
I prefer that kind of mind game, that kind of being a dick than, Shinsuke trying to insult AJ and whatnot.
I agree. There's not enough of it. There's really not enough really good mind games going on in any of the storylines.
Well, to be fair, Mind Games was... So there's that. Okay, I'll see myself out now.
I hurt my eyes when I rolled onto them.
Good. Anyway, let's go ahead and put a nice little tidy bow on this episode here with our show rating and our one-word review. Scale of 1 to 10, Bisco, where do you fall?
I'll give it a 7. Nothing really spectacular happened, but, a few things that progressed certain things, and, you had some additions and a few matches officially made finally, or added to matches.
Liz?
Yeah, I'd probably go about 6.5.
I think she said 6.5 just to be different.
I was being generous. I was thinking about 6.5.
Well, no, I mean 6.5. I mean, there were parts of it that didn't really, hold my attention, and it was okay. Like Brandon said, they were plus that moved things along. They gave us all these lovely multi-man matches. And for that, they get a 6.5.
I think I'm okay with the multi-man matches as long as they deliver. And frankly, I think all the ones that were made tonight can deliver. Mm-hmm. The tag team title match can deliver. The U.S. title match just got a hell of a lot more interesting with Rusev being involved. I think SmackDown was significantly better than Raw this week. I'm going to give SmackDown a 7.5. One word review, Brandon.
Additions. You had Rusev being added to the U.S. title match. You had the addition of the tag team title match to WrestleMania, and I think they did make it official, the tag team match for Shane and Daniel versus KO and Sammy.
Sammy accepted on behalf of himself and Kevin.
Okay.
Liz?
It was decent. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't fabulous, but it was a decent show. It set up what it needed to do.
So like one of these times when we do this review and you say fabulous, you need to throw in the finger snap for everybody at home.
They won't see me do it like in a Z fashion, though, so it doesn't matter.
Air quotes on an audio podcast. It's cool. Same theory as Brandon's, better word, progression.
Yeah.
We are finally starting to get the card set in stone, closer and closer to WrestleMania. I mean, Stevie Wonder could see most of these matches coming. Nice to have them finalized.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the one thing that I don't think anyone, even the most ardent Rusev fans, saw coming, though, was Rusev getting added to the U.S. title match.
No, I said that earlier. I don't think anybody really would have expected that.
I mean, as soon as he won, I saw it coming, but,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Liz?
What?
What day is it again?
It's always Rusev Day.
Damn right.
I'm giving you both the thumbs down right now.
That's unfortunate that they can't see you at home. Aw, too bad. For the co-hostess with the mostest, Liz Pugliese, and the aforementioned Jafar to my Aladdin. You know what? I'm going to make it even worse for you. You're the Jafar to my genie.
Oh, God.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Robin. Brandon Biskobing. I'm Harry Broadhurst, thanking you for listening to the Wrestling to the Max Smackdown live review for March 27th, 2018. Format for next week's show still pending. We'll get back to you on that one. One thing's for sure, we will have our WrestleMania predictions for you guys next week. Talk to you guys with the 205 Live and Mixed Match Challenge review next here on the W2M Network.